Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. As the daylight angled into the room, sharp lines of shadow danced across the once untarnished floor. The faintest tremor resulted in a cascade of humble possessions from a resting place atop the wardrobe. A collection of printed periodicals tumbled outward, their vibrant covers contrasting against the subtle bedding. Selecting one at random, the woman's gaze fixated on the beaming portrait of a stunningly attired figure. A sense of misalignment unsettled her. Bewildered and yet curious, she delved further, turning page after page. A surge of fascination gripped her as she encountered an array of subjects, each more intriguing than the last. Her hands trembled slightly as she gathered the magazines into a pile. "Jason's been hiding these?" she whispered to the empty room. The front door clicked open downstairs. "Honey, I'm home!" Vicky's heart hammered against her ribs. She shoved the magazines back into the box, but one slipped free, landing face up on the floor. Footsteps echoed on the stairs. "Hey, babe, how was your—" Jason froze in the doorway, his eyes locked on the magazine at her feet. His face drained of color, making his brown hair appear darker by contrast. He wore his usual gray suit, but suddenly looked smaller in it. "We need to talk." Vicky's voice came out steadier than she felt. Jason's Adam's apple bobbed. "I can explain." "Sit." She pointed to the bed. He perched on the edge, hands clasped between his knees. "How much did you see?" "Enough." She held up the box. "How long have you been collecting these?" 5 years. His voice barely rose above a whisper. 5 years? Vicky set the box down, pacing the length of the bedroom. "You've been hiding this from me for 5 years? I didn't know how to tell you. I thought you'd leave." She stopped pacing, studying her husband's hunched form. "Do you want to dress like the people in these magazines?" Jason's silence stretched between them like a taut wire. "Answer me." "Sometimes." The word escaped like air from a punctured tire. Vicky pulled out her phone. "I need to process this. I'm going to Helen's." "Vicky, please." "I'll be back later." She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. "Don't touch that box." Helen's kitchen smelled like coffee and cinnamon rolls. Vicky sat at the round table, watching her friend pour 2 mugs from a fresh pot. Helen's blonde hair caught the light from the window as she moved, her green sweater complementing her complexion. "So Jason's into cross-dressing?" Helen settled across from her, cradling her mug. "I don't even know what to call it." Vicky traced the rim of her cup. The magazines talked about feminization, transformation. Some of them mentioned hormones and surgeries. "How do you feel about it?" "Confused, angry he hid it, but also—" She paused, searching for words. "Curious?" Helen leaned forward. "Curious how?" The magazines described power dynamics. The woman taking control, guiding the transformation. There was something compelling about it. "You've always been the dominant one in your relationship." "Have I?" Vicky considered this. "I guess I make most of the decisions. Remember when you chose his car, his job, where you live? Those were joint decisions." Helen's laugh filled the kitchen. "Girl, please. Jason goes along with whatever you want. Maybe this is just another area where he wants you to take charge." "You think I should do it? Help him dress like a woman?" "I think you should explore what you both want." Helen refilled their mugs. "But if you do this, you need to own it. No half measures." Vicky stared into her coffee, watching the cream swirl. "Where would I even start?" "Lucky for you, I know just the place." The boutique nestled between a bookstore and a cafe, its windows displaying mannequins in various stages of dress. A bell chimed as Vicky pushed open the door. Helen closed behind. "Welcome to Transformations!" A woman with silver hair approached them, her purple dress swishing. "I'm Margaret. How can I help you today?" Helen nudged Vicky forward. "My friend needs some items for her husband." Margaret's expression didn't change. "Of course. First time?" "Yes." Vicky's voice came out stronger than expected. "I found his magazines. I want to surprise him." "How wonderful that you're supportive." Margaret led them deeper into the store. "What size is he?" "About my height, but broader shoulders, maybe 30 pounds heavier." "Let's start with the basics." Margaret pulled items from various racks. Undergarments are crucial for the right silhouette. She held up a beige garment with padding. This will give him curves in the right places, and these, she indicated a pair of silicone forms, will complete the look up top. Those look so real. Vicky touched one gingerly. They should. Now for clothing, I recommend starting simple. A dress is easier than coordinating separates. Margaret selected several dresses in different styles. This navy one would complement his coloring. The wrap style is forgiving for broader frames. I like the pink one. Vicky fingered the soft fabric. Bold choice for a first-timer. Margaret smiled. But if you're taking charge, why not? What about shoes? Heels? Eventually, but walking in them takes practice. Let's start with these. She presented a pair of black flats with a slight heel. Size 11 should work. They continued through the store, Margaret suggesting items while Vicky made selections. Makeup, a wig, and a shoulder-length brown style that matched Jason's natural color, accessories. One more thing. Margaret disappeared into a back room, returning with a small bottle. Nail polish remover that works on the strongest adhesives, just in case. At the register, Vicky's credit card trembled slightly in her hand. This is really happening. Only if you want it to. Helen squeezed her shoulder. You're in control. Jason sat exactly where she'd left him, still in his gray suit, still hunched on the bed. The box of magazines rested untouched on the dresser. I'm back. Vicky set her shopping bags on the floor. I'm sorry. The words tumbled out. I never meant for you to find those. I'll throw them away. We can forget this ever happened. No. His head snapped up. No? You've wanted this for 5 years, maybe longer. She pulled the pink dress from a bag, holding it up. We're going to explore it. Vicky, you don't have to... Stand up. He rose slowly, confusion written across his face. Take off your clothes. What? You heard me. She laid items across the bed methodically. Strip. Jason's fingers fumbled with his tie. I don't understand. You hid this from me, kept secrets. Now we do it my way. She held up the padded undergarment. Everything off. He complied with shaking hands, his clothes pooling on the floor. Vicky studied him dispassionately, noting the way he tried to cover himself. Arms up. She helped him into the shapewear, adjusting the padding to sit correctly. The silicone forms came next, their weight making him shift his stance. How does that feel? Strange. Heavy. You'll adjust. She slipped the pink dress over his head, zipping the back. The fabric fell to just above his knees. Sit. She pointed to the vanity chair. The next hour passed in careful steps. She styled the brown wig, securing it with pins. Makeup came next, foundation to cover his stubble shadow, eyeshadow in neutral tones, mascara that made him blink rapidly, lipstick in a modest pink. Open your eyes. Jason stared at his reflection, mouth falling open. The person in the mirror looked nothing like the man who'd walked in wearing a gray suit. What's your name? Vicky asked. What? When you're dressed like this, what name do you use? I never thought about it. Julia. The name came to her instantly. When you look like this, you're Julia. Julia. He tested the name, voice soft. She needs to practice walking. Vicky slipped the flats onto his feet. Stand up, Julia. The next hours blurred together. Walking lessons, where Julia stumbled, then found her balance. Voice coaching, pitching higher and softer. Sitting with knees together, smoothing the dress beneath her. Each correction came swift and firm from Vicky. I think that's enough for today. Julia's voice cracked with exhaustion. We're just getting started. Vicky circled her creation. You'll sleep in the guest room tonight. What? Why? Julia doesn't share my bed, not yet. She gathered the men's clothes from the floor. These are going in storage. Vicky, wait, can we talk about this? We are talking through action. She paused at the door. Breakfast is at 7. Don't be late. Morning light crept through unfamiliar curtains. Julia woke slowly, the weight on her chest momentarily confusing. Memory rushed back. The wig remained pinned in place, makeup smeared across the pillowcase. A knock rattled the door. "Julia, time to get ready." Vicky entered without waiting, carrying another shopping bag. "Shower first. Use this." She handed over a pink bottle. "It removes body hair." "All of it?" "Below the neck, yes. Leave it on for 10 minutes exactly." The shower ran longer than usual, clouds of steam filling the bathroom. Julia emerged, smooth-skinned and shivering, wrapping herself in the provided towel. "Better," Vicky nodded approvingly. "Today you learn maintenance." She taught Julia to apply her own makeup, patient but exacting. Each mistake meant starting over. The wig came off for washing and styling, revealing Jason's short brown hair beneath. "We'll let your natural hair grow." Vicky ran fingers through the short strands. "The wig is temporary." "How long will this last?" "As long as I decide." She selected a blue dress from the closet. "This today." Days settled into routine. Julia woke, showered, dressed under Vicky's supervision. Makeup application improved. Walking in progressively higher heels became natural. The male clothes remained locked away. "I need to go to work." Julia stood in the kitchen, coffee mug trembling in manicured hands. "No, I'll lose my job." "I called them. Said you're dealing with a family emergency." Vicky sipped her own coffee calmly. "You have saved vacation time. What happens when that runs out?" "We'll address that when necessary." Weeks passed. Julia's hair grew, reaching her ears. The wig collected dust. Her movements became fluid, practiced. She answered only to Julia now, even in private moments. "Helen's coming for dinner," Vicky announced one evening. Julia's face paled beneath carefully applied foundation. "She can't see me like this." "She already knows. She helped me shop that first day." "You told her?" "I needed advice." Vicky adjusted Julia's necklace. "Wear the green dress. It brings out your eyes." Helen arrived precisely at 6, carrying a bottle of wine. Her gaze swept over Julia, taking in every detail. "You look lovely." "Thank you." Julia's voice barely rose above a whisper. Dinner conversation flowed around safe topics: weather, local news, a new restaurant downtown. Julia picked at her salad, hyper-aware of every gesture. "So," Helen set down her wine glass. "How are you adjusting?" "It's been challenging." "I imagine so. Vicky mentioned you're not working." "Temporarily." "Have you considered what comes next?" Julia glanced at Vicky, who remained silent. "I don't know." "There are options." Helen pulled a business card from her purse. "A friend of mine runs a clinic. They specialize in helping people like you." "People like me?" "Those exploring gender transition." The word hung heavy in the air. Julia's fork clattered against her plate. "I'm not... This isn't... Isn't it?" Vicky's voice cut through the protest. "You've been Julia for 2 months. You haven't asked to change back once. You haven't let me. I haven't stopped you. The clothes are locked up, not destroyed. You know where the key is." Julia's mouth opened, then closed. She did know. Vicky had told her the first week, top dresser drawer, beneath the jewelry box. She'd never looked. "The consultation is free." Helen slid the card across the table. "Just to explore options." Dr. Martinez's office occupied the 3rd floor of a medical building, her diplomas covering one full wall. Julia fidgeted in the waiting room chair, her yellow sundress riding up slightly. "Julia Storm?" a nurse called. The name still jolted her, hearing it from strangers. Vicky had insisted on using it for the appointment. "Right here." Vicky stood, pulling Julia up with her. Dr. Martinez greeted them warmly, her dark hair pulled into a neat bun. "Please have a seat. Tell me what brings you here today." Vicky launched into the story, finding the magazines, the transformation, the growing certainty that this ran deeper than dress-up. Julia sat silent, hands folded in her lap. "Julia?" Dr. Martinez turned to her. "What do you think about all this?" "I don't know. That's perfectly normal. Can you tell me how you feel when you present as Julia versus your assigned identity?" "Different. Calmer, maybe? Like I'm not fighting myself constantly." "How long have you felt that internal conflict?" "Always." The admission surprised her. Even as a kid, something felt wrong, like wearing a costume that didn't fit. And now? Julia smoothed her dress, considering. Now the costume fits better, but it's still not quite right. What would make it right? I don't know. But images flashed through her mind. The hormones mentioned in those magazines, the surgeries, the complete transformation. We don't have to decide anything today. Dr. Martinez handed over several pamphlets. These explain the various options: hormones, therapy, surgical interventions. Take time to read them. Think about what you want. What I want hasn't mattered much lately. Julia glanced at Vicky. It matters now. Vicky's voice stayed firm. This next step has to be your choice. They drove home in silence, the pamphlets heavy in Julia's lap. That night, she read each one carefully, Vicky beside her in bed. The hormones would change everything. Julia traced the before and after photos. Permanently. My voice would stay higher, breast growth, fat redistribution. Is that what you want? Julia set the pamphlets aside. Can I ask you something? Always. Why did you do this? Take control like you did? Vicky considered her answer. Because you needed permission. You'd never give it to yourself, so I gave it to you. But keeping me as Julia full-time, not letting me change back. You could have changed back any time. You chose not to. You manipulated me. I freed you. Vicky turned to face her fully. Tell me you were happier before. Tell me you want to go back to being Jason, and I'll get your clothes right now. Silence stretched between them. Julia's eyes filled with tears, careful not to smudge her mascara. I can't. I know. Vicky pulled her close. So, what do you want to do? I think I want to try the hormones. You think or you know? I know. The certainty surprised her. I know. The small pill looked innocuous in Julia's palm. 3 months of therapy had led to this moment, Dr. Martinez finally agreeing to prescribe hormone replacement therapy. Once you start, changes begin quickly. Vicky watched from the bedroom doorway. You're sure? Julia swallowed the pill with water. I'm sure. Changes came subtly at first. Skin softening, emotions closer to the surface. Julia cried at commercials now, laughed more freely. Her body began reshaping itself, curves appearing where none existed before. Your hair's getting so long. Vicky ran fingers through the brown strands that now reached Julia's shoulders. No more wig. Julia smiled at her reflection. The face looking back appeared softer, more feminine with each passing week. 6 months in, none of Jason's clothes would fit even if Julia wanted them. Shopping trips became adventures in discovering her evolving style. Try this one. Vicky held up a red dress with a plunging neckline. Too bold. You're different now. Confident. It suits you. Julia tried it on, surprised when Vicky proved right. The woman in the mirror looked comfortable in her skin, radiant even. I love it. I love you. Vicky kissed her cheek. All of you. Work became an issue they couldn't ignore. Julia's savings dwindled, the reality of bills pressing close. I could go back. Julia sat at the kitchen table, resume open on her laptop, explain the situation. As Julia, I can't be anyone else anymore. Then we need a new plan. Vicky closed the laptop. Helen mentioned an opening at her company, marketing position. They're very inclusive. You already talked to her about it? I wanted options ready. The interview's tomorrow if you want it. Julia got the job. Her first day, she wore the navy dress from that initial shopping trip, a full circle moment. Co-workers accepted her without question, the company's policies protecting her from discrimination. How was it? Vicky asked that evening. Normal. Wonderfully normal. Julia kicked off her heels. Although my feet are killing me. Price of beauty. Vicky massaged her feet, gentle with the painted toes. Any regrets? About today? No? About any of it? Julia considered the question seriously. I regret hiding for so long, wasting years pretending. You weren't ready then. Would I ever have been, without you pushing? We'll never know. Vicky moved to massage her calves. Does it matter? I guess not. A year into hormones, Dr. Martinez brought up surgery options. Julia listened carefully, taking notes. It's a big step, she told Vicky that night. Irreversible. So were the hormones, technically. This is different. Complete reconstruction. What does your gut tell you? That I want it. Julia touched her chest, still feeling disconnected from her lower body. I want to be complete. Then we'll make it happen. The surgery required months of preparation, hair removal, letters from therapists, insurance battles. Vicky fought each obstacle fiercely, protective of Julia's journey. Why are you doing all this? Julia asked one night, exhausted from another round of paperwork. Because I love you. Because you're my wife. I'm not officially anything yet. You're Julia, that's official enough for me. The night before surgery, they lay together in bed, holding each other close. Scared? Vicky whispered. Terrified, but ready. I'll be there when you wake up. Promise? Always. Recovery took months. Pain gave way to healing, dysphoria replaced by growing comfort. Julia marveled at her body's new configuration. Everything finally aligned. How do you feel? Dr. Martinez asked at a follow-up appointment. Whole. Tears slipped down Julia's cheeks. For the first time, whole. Legal changes followed. Name change paperwork, updated driver's license, amended birth certificate. Each document shed another layer of the past. Julia Marie Storm. She traced the name on her new license. Marie? My grandmother's name. Feels like honoring the women who came before. Jason's grandmother? No, mine. 2 years after finding those magazines, Vicky and Julia stood in their bedroom, packing boxes. Can't believe we're leaving this place. Julia folded her dresses carefully. Too many memories? No, not enough space. She gestured to her overflowing closet. Someone discovered shopping. You needed a whole new wardrobe, Vicky defended. Nothing from before fit. Nothing from last year fits either. These hips weren't part of the original plan. I'm not complaining. They moved to a larger apartment across town. Fresh start in a place without ghosts. Julia thrived at work, earning a promotion. Vicky started her own consulting firm, their partnership extending beyond personal into professional support. We should celebrate, Vicky suggested one evening. 3-year anniversary of Julia's birth. Birth? The day you first wore that pink dress. The day everything changed. Feels like a lifetime ago. Good lifetime or bad? The best. Julia pulled her close. Even with your bossy beginning. Someone had to take charge. Thank God you did. They celebrated at the restaurant where Helen had first mentioned the clinic. Full circle moments kept appearing in their life. I have something for you. Vicky pulled out a small box. What's this? Open it. Inside lay a ring, simple gold with a small diamond. Vicky, marry me, again, as yourself this time. You want to remarry? I want the world to know Julia Storm is my wife. Officially, legally, forever. Yes. Julia slipped on the ring, perfect fit on her slender finger. Absolutely yes. The ceremony was small. Helen stood as witness, Dr. Martinez attended, a few close friends who'd supported the journey. Julia wore white, a simple dress that made her glow. Do you take this woman? The officiant's words washed over them. I do. They spoke in unison, laughter bubbling up at the synchronization. I now pronounce you wife and wife. Their kiss lasted longer than strictly necessary, years of struggle and growth compressed into that moment. At the reception, Helen raised her champagne glass. To Vicky and Julia, proof that love means helping someone become who they're meant to be. Even when they don't know it themselves, Vicky added. Especially then, Julia agreed. They danced to their song, the same one from their first wedding years ago, but everything else had changed. Any regrets? Vicky whispered against her ear. Only one. Vicky pulled back, concerned. What? I can't wear that pink dress anymore. Completely wrong size now. We'll buy you another. In every color? If that's what makes you happy? You make me happy. Julia rested her head on Vicky's shoulder. You saw who I could be before I did. I just gave you permission to see it yourself. By force. By love, Vicky corrected. Sometimes they look the same. The song ended, but they kept dancing, oblivious to the world beyond each other. What would have happened if you hadn't found those magazines? Julia wondered aloud. Don't know, don't care. Vicky spun her gently. This is our story, the only one that matters. As their guests mingled and music played, Julia Storm, fully herself at last, couldn't imagine any other ending. The journey from Jason's hidden magazines to this celebration seemed inevitable now, each step leading exactly where it needed to. Thank you, she whispered to her wife. For what? For seeing me, the real me, and bringing her to life. She was always there. Vicky kissed her softly. I just helped her find the right dress. They laughed, spinning through another song, another moment, another perfect piece of their transformed life together. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.